One shot. Silence. Another shot. Silence. In the coldest forest in the world, a man with a simple rifle had just changed the course of a war. The enemies called him Deadliest, the White Death, and for good reason. In just 100 days, this Finnish farmer eliminated more than 700 enemy soldiers, becoming the deadliest sniper in history. But his story didn't begin with a rifle in his hands. Simo Häyhä was born on a small farm in Rotjärvi, Finland. He was an ordinary man, barely 5 feet 3 inches tall, who worked the land and hunted to feed his family. No one could have predicted that this quiet farmer would become the nightmare of an entire army. Everything changed on November 30, 1939. The Soviet Union, with an army of more than 1 million soldiers, invaded Finland. It was like a giant attacking a child. The Soviets expected to conquer the country in a few weeks. They had tanks, planes, heavy artillery, and trained soldiers. Finland had 300,000 poorly equipped men and the determination to defend their land. Simo was 34 years old when he received the call. His country needed him. Without hesitation, he took his hunting rifle, a Mosin Nagant, the same one he used to hunt elk in the forest, and headed to the front. He didn't know he was about to write his name in history with letters of fire. Simo's first encounter with the enemy was revealing. While other soldiers struggled to stay warm in the extreme cold, he felt at home. He had spent his entire life in those forests. He knew every tree, every rock, every sound. For him, war was like hunting, except this time the prey shot back. His first victim fell with a single shot at more than 400 meters distance. The Soviet soldier didn't even see where the bullet came from. For Simo, it was just the beginning. What made Simo special wasn't just his marksmanship, but his method. While other snipers used telescopic sights, he preferred simple iron sights. Why? Telescopic sights could fog up in the cold, and worse still, they could reflect light and reveal his position. Simo couldn't afford that luxury. Every morning, before dawn, Simo went out to hunt. But he wasn't hunting animals. He was hunting soldiers. He moved like a ghost among the trees, invisible in his white suit that blended perfectly with the snow. He could remain motionless for hours, waiting for the perfect moment. His technique was simple but lethal. He chose a position with easy escape, lay down in the snow, and waited. But his methods were unique. He kept snow in his mouth to prevent the vapor from his breath from giving him away in the cold air. He carefully compacted the snow in front of his rifle so that no dust would rise when he fired. He could spend hours completely motionless, waiting for the exact moment. When an enemy appeared in his line of sight, Simo took a deep breath, held it, and pulled the trigger. One shot, one death. Then he moved to another position before the enemy could locate him. The Soviets began to realize that something strange was happening. Their soldiers were dying from shots that seemed to come from nowhere. No one saw the shooter. No one knew where the bullets were coming from. It was as if the forest itself was killing them. The morale of the Soviet troops began to collapse. Soldiers were afraid to move during the day. Some refused to leave their shelters. They had come to conquer a small country and now lived in terror of a man who seemed like a ghost. Simo didn't only use his rifle. When he was assigned to assault squads or fought as a group leader, he switched to a Suomi KP-31 submachine gun. With this automatic weapon, he achieved 200 additional casualties in close combat. He could eliminate multiple enemies in seconds when the situation required it. But his favorite weapon remained his old hunting rifle. With it, he could kill silently, from afar, without anyone knowing he was there. Stories about Simo began to spread. Soviet soldiers nicknamed him Deadliest, which means the White Death. They said he was a demon who appeared from nowhere, killed, and disappeared. Some believed he wasn't human, that he was some kind of forest spirit protecting Finland. Soviet commanders knew they had to do something. A single man was causing more damage than entire battalions. They sent special snipers to hunt him. They sent commando teams. They sent scouts with specific orders: find and eliminate the White Death. But Simo knew the forest better than anyone. When the hunters arrived, he had already moved. When they thought they had him cornered, he appeared behind them. The hunters became the prey. On one occasion, a specially trained Soviet sniper arrived with orders to kill Simo. He had been sent from Moscow with a state-of-the-art rifle and telescopic sight. He considered himself the best marksman in the Red Army. He spent 3 days searching for his target. On the 4th day, a bullet went through his head. Simo had been watching him the entire time, waiting for the perfect moment. The war continued and Simo kept killing. 10 enemies in one day. 15 the next. 20 on an especially active day. His comrades began keeping a record of his victims. It was impossible to believe that a single man could be so lethal. But Simo wasn't just a sniper. He was a complete soldier. He participated in patrols, helped rescue the wounded, and was always ready to face the enemy face-to-face when necessary. His comrades respected him not only for his skill with the rifle, but for his courage and dedication. The Soviets increased the pressure. They sent more troops, more special teams, more resources to eliminate a single man. They even used artillery to bomb areas where they believed he might be hiding. But Simo was always one step ahead. One of his favorite tactics was using decoys. He would place a helmet on a stick and move it slightly. When an enemy sniper shot at the decoy, Simo would locate their position and eliminate them. It was a deadly game where Simo always won. The cold was his ally. While Soviet soldiers, many of them from warmer regions, suffered from temperatures that reached -40 degrees, Simo felt comfortable. He had lived his entire life in that climate. He knew how to move without making noise in the snow, how to breathe without creating visible vapor, how to stay warm without fire. His victims kept accumulating. 50, 100, 200. Each death was a blow to enemy morale and a boost for Finnish troops. Simo had become a living legend, a symbol of resistance against an overwhelmingly superior enemy. But the war took its toll. Simo had been fighting for months, living in extreme conditions, always in danger. His body began to show signs of exhaustion. His hands trembled slightly from the constant cold. His eyes were red from lack of sleep. But his determination remained intact. The moment that would change everything came on March 6, 1940. Simo was in his usual position, waiting for enemy targets. He had eliminated more than 500 soldiers up to that point. It was another day of hunting. A Soviet sniper had managed to locate him. From a considerable distance, he aimed carefully and fired. The explosive bullet hit Simo's face, destroying his left cheek and jaw. The force of the impact should have killed him instantly. But Simo Häyhä was not an ordinary man. The wound was terrible, and although he fell unconscious almost immediately, his heart kept beating. His comrades found him in a pool of blood and snow. He was so disfigured that some thought he had died. They rushed him to the nearest hospital. The doctors didn't believe he could survive. His jaw was shattered, he had lost teeth and part of his cheek. But 11 days later, Simo woke up. His first question was about the state of the war. While Simo recovered in the hospital, the war came to an end. Finland had resisted the impossible. Although it lost territory, it maintained its independence. The Soviets, who expected an easy victory, had lost more than 200,000 soldiers. Finland had proven that size doesn't always determine the outcome of a battle. When Simo left the hospital, he was a national hero. He had eliminated more than 700 enemies in less than 100 days of combat. His record has never been surpassed and probably never will be. But he didn't consider himself a hero. He had only defended his country. After the war, Simo returned to his farm. He rejected all offers to write books or make movies about his life. He wanted to return to normalcy, work the land, and live in peace. Occasionally, journalists came to interview him, but he always gave short and modest answers. When asked about his incredible skill as a sniper, Simo simply replied, "Practice." When asked how he felt about having killed so many men, his answer was even simpler, "I did what I had to do." Simo Häyhä lived to be 96 years old. He died in 2002, taking with him the secrets of his incredible ability. He never boasted about his achievements. He never considered himself superior to others. He was simply a farmer who defended his country when it needed him. His story teaches us that real heroes aren't always the ones we expect. They don't need to be tall, strong, or specially trained. Sometimes, they only need determination, skill, and love for their homeland. Simo Häyhä, the White Death, proved that an ordinary man can achieve extraordinary things when circumstances require it. Today, in the forests of Finland, where Simo once hunted, peace reigns. But his legend remains. The trees that once witnessed his incredible skill now whisper stories about the farmer who became the deadliest sniper in history. The White Death had fulfilled his mission and earned his place in eternity. If you enjoyed the video about this Finnish national hero, please comment, like, and subscribe. I'll see you in the next video.